Shalom. For those of you who've been paying attention, and it's okay if you haven't, I think I've begun every sermon for the last couple of weeks with the same question, and this week won't be any different, which is, what is it that our religion asks of us or has for us in this moment in which we live? Because we don't need to go into lots of details to think about the fact that the world around us seems like it's in some trouble. It doesn't really matter what way you approach issues, there's a lot going on. And there is a question of, what should I as a Jew do? What should I as a moral person do? What should I as a religious person of any faith do? What is it that we have to face the world around us, whether we're talking about politics or society or technology or sports? I don't know, whatever it is, what is it that our religion has to offer to this conversation? Because I believe in the core of my being, with every fiber of that being, that what we do here in this room, and that what we do when we study Torah, that what we as Jews do is the answer to what we need to do in this world, has the antidote to the world around us and what we need to be doing. And as we read this parsha this morning, beautifully done by all of our readers, we came across a line that I think is, if not the core of what it means to be a good person, what it means to act the way that our world needs us to, and what we as Jews can take from the Torah and help make the world around us a better place. If it's not the most important, it's easily, top 10. The line, of course, is Kedoshim Tihiyu. Just two words. You shall be holy. And in this, we see everything that we need as we face the world around us. So the first thing we have to figure out is, what does that actually mean? When it says, Kedoshim Tihiyu, you shall be kadosh, you shall be holy. And for this, we're going to need a little help. Because raise your hand if you know exactly what holiness means. You got it, buddy? You might be the prophet. No? Okay, all right. Right. None of us do. It is totally unclear. And all you need to do, and I think we've done this before, is look at the commentary to see that there's thousands of answers of what does it mean to be holy. So what I want you to do for just a second, and if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If not, you don't have to. And think about what is evoked for you when I say the word holy. When I say kadosh, when you think of what holiness means, what is it? What is the image? What is the feeling? Is it a place, a person, a thing? And now, and this is where the real bravery comes in, I want you to turn to the person next to you. And if you don't know them, introduce yourself. Say, hi, I'm Shabbat Shalom. My name is Ethan. It's nice to meet you. And if you feel comfortable sharing your thought, then please do. If not, that's okay. The question I want you to answer is, what does it mean to be holy? What does holiness mean in our world today? Okay? You can have, you know what, this is going to be a hard one. Take like 36 seconds, maybe even 54. Okay? Turn to the person next to you, share your idea of holiness, ready, set, go. I'm gonna bring us back. Okay, take 9 more seconds, friends. Do you have an answer? What's your answer? Wait, hold that for the end, okay? All right. Tali, thanks. Nora, sorry. Okay, friends. So just as a check to see how we're doing, how many people discussed what holiness means? Okay, how many people then moved on to schmoozing? Okay, that's good. Hey, that's yeah, be honest, we're great. Okay. So let's share a little bit here. I would love to hear if you've got it in a sentence. What does holiness mean? You can either share your own thought, or you can share the thought of your partner, pretend like it's yours and sound smarter than you are. That's fine too. So who's got an answer to this question of what does holiness mean? Okay, what does holiness mean? You guys got one for me? Okay, what you got, Tali? Being religious. That's okay. Nice. I'm going to teach you a word. Tautology. Can you say tautology? Great. No, that's awesome. So being religious is holy. We're going to talk about what does it mean to then be religious, but I love it. Susan, what do you got? Okay, so holiness has inherent in it something to do with God. We think. That's the positive right now, right? We're all going to be right at the end of this, don't worry. But it could be that in order to be holy, there has to be something divine about it. I love it. Yes, my friend. Honesty, telling the truth is holy. How is telling the truth holy, or is it just what you think a rabbi wants to hear in the sanctuary? You're like, I'm now asking you to violate your holiness code by, no, great. Telling the truth is something that is holy. I love it. And did you have? Okay. Okay. Is a holy thing. So I'll repeat, don't worry if you can't hear, that's fine. I will shout it out. I promise. So we've got, from this corner of the room, we have that holiness has something to do with God. By the way, readers of the Torah, how do we know that that's probably true? Right, because the second part of the verse says, Rabbi Cooper, move on is not move on, sorry, I didn't mean to impart that on you. The second part of the verse says, you shall be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy. So it's got to come from divinity in some way. We also have, in addition to this, an idea of holiness involves service to others in some way. Right? Which, now that's one that might be more controversial, right? One might think that I can just own my way to holiness on the top of a mountain and it has nothing to do with other people. But we're saying, no, over here at least, it has to be something that you bring to others. Yes, please. Okay. Okay, so holiness is trying to do what God does. Okay, there's like 12 religion professors in the room. What's the fancy Latin word for that? There we go, imitatio Dei. Thank you to my professors. We're going to offer some extra credit at the end. Right, so this is so important, it gets its own Latin phrase, right? That we should try to be like God, and just as God clothes the naked, we should clothe the naked. Just as God visits the sick, we should visit the sick. Just as God is a creator, we should be creative. And I was going to save this for the end, but I can't resist. So a Hasidic rabbi of the third generation, the Degel Machaneh Ephraim, he writes specifically that what holiness means is to imitate the creative aspect of what God does. He says, Kadosh, I won't take you through the whole thing. He says, Kadosh is equal to Chokhmah, right? That holiness is really wisdom. And God uses wisdom, the book of Proverbs says, to create the world. And therefore, the holiness is being wise in a creative way, trying to build the world around us. And I wonder if when people thought of a holy thing in their mind, did it have this aspect? I know mine did when I tried this at home, right? That when I think of something as holy, it's something that is generative, creative, good for the world, helping to build the world around us, not destroy, not tear down, not defeat, not end, but begin, create. That's what holiness might mean, says Dr. Miller and the Degel Machane Ephraim. Let's take one or two more. Who else? We're going to end with yours. I know what yours is, and it's good. It's a good one, okay? Don't worry. Who else? Anyone else has a holiness? Yes. Nice. First of all, grown-ups, y'all are being showed up here. All right? Like, I don't know what, but okay. So it's good, it's leadership, and it's loving. Okay, I love it. So good, meaning just like being a good person. Okay, so we've got a Ramban, a Nachmanidian here, who says exactly that holiness isn't following the laws. You might think, just do what the Torah says and you'll be holy. No, says Rambam and our young friend. You have to also be good. Because Rambam points out, you could follow all the rules in the Torah and still be kind of, mean about it. And it's called, I don't have a Latin phrase on this one, but I have a Hebrew one, a naval birshuta Torah. That you are, I'm not translating naval in public, but not a good person within the bounds of the Torah. And that's not holy. Holiness is going above and beyond in order to be kind, be good, do things in the right way, not just follow the rules, but go above and beyond when we follow the rules. I love it. Let's take one more. Since I've shamed you all, a grown-up has one for us. I got two here. Thank you. All right, Barry. Yeah.
I'd like to give you a perspective that applies very much to the wife and the family. We've been very active in the scouting work and program.
I said one sentence, but I'll take one more. Barry.
Holiness is following the scouting law every day of our lives.
Okay. Holiness is, I'm going to, not being well versed in scout law, I will say, I'm sure that's right. But I'm also going to take from that the idea of every day of our lives, right? And so that might be that holiness is something that we do in every moment, in every day. Martin Buber, will bring to you here, Barry, writes that holiness is taking the human and making it heavenly. That it's looking out in the world around us, seeing the ordinary, and trying to find a way to make it better, to bring divinity and something heavenly into that. Let's take last one, David, and then we will conclude, I promise. Yeah. Great. Anyone can, Ted Lasso their way into just being a holy, good person, but only a Jew can do it in the specific way that the Torah is about to tell us. Is that what am I sort of, without my weird joke aside? It's the particularism that's here. By the way, at its most core level, that's what the Sifra, that's what Rashi say is going on here. Kedoshim, kadosh means holy, but it means separate. It means distinct. And so that is what God is telling us to do, is to be separate and distinct. Alan, is that what you said? Did you? You're chuckling. Yep. Okay, great. So if I'm on the same path as Rabbi Iser, we must be going in the right way. So if holy is to be distinct and to be separate, then what makes us holy is we're the ones who do all of this stuff. We are the ones who follow these rules. We are the ones who don't do these other things, right? For some people who learned with me earlier this week, one of the other laws that shows up in this code is don't do what the non-Jews around you are doing. That's wrong, right? We should try to be distinct and be separate. And in some ways, holiness might just be holding ourselves apart from the rest of what's going on. And I want to say the reason that I think that this is one of the answers to what our religion is asking for us in the world today is because everything that you've all said is something that the world sorely needs. And if we're sitting here looking at the world around us and thinking, what can I do? Like, how can I help? There is a lot going on. I see bad things on the news all the time. What can I do? I think the world needs us to be a people who are holy. We need to be a people who are serving others, a people who have a divine purpose. Because that is in some ways what separates us from the Rotary Club, which also does good things in the world, is that we do it because of God. And we make the human heavenly. And we do it every single day. And that's something that's required of us as well. We can't just be holy when we sit in this room. We have to be holy in every place that we go. And we have to look around us and we have to try to help others. And we also have to be distinct and separate on our own as a people who stand for something, stand for morals, stand up for what we believe in, and that is holiness as well. And it can be daunting, but I want to point out two things. God says, Kedoshim tihiyu, you shall be holy. And God says this to the people when they're in the desert, when they've, this is post-golden calf, this is after some bad things have already happened. So the rabbis asked this question of, well, it might mean not you are holy right now in what you're doing, but it could. It could mean, even with the flaws that we all have, holiness is here. It also might mean you will be holy. And so our task is not to leave this room as saints. Our task is to leave this room and try to become saints and to take the first step on that path. And that comes, Tali, final word is going to be yours. Sorry, Nora, I apologize. Final word is going to be yours. So you said holiness is what? Reading the Torah. That's right. Holiness is reading the Torah, because the rabbis in the Talmud understood that this is a hard thing to do, to just be holy all of the time. And so they gave us a step-by-step way to get there. And the first thing you have to do is study Torah. And they say Torah study will lead to being precise in the way that we act and think, because learning Torah makes you think about the little things in the world around you. Thinking about the little things in the world around you will lead you to zeal, will lead you to caring about all the little things in the world around you. I think we talked about this last week with the prophets, right? The prophet is someone who sees every little thing and blows it up into a really big deal. And that comes after you study, after you understand the need for details. Then you have zeal about those details, which leads to cleanliness. Not sure where that comes in, but it leads, says the rabbi, to cleanliness. Keeping your house in order with the attention to detail that you have. Cleanliness will lead to restraint. And restraint is something that we all need in this world at some time in our lives. Restraint will lead to purity, to being able to hold back, will lead us to be able to abstain from things that we know aren't good for us, that we don't want to be a part of. And that, the rabbis say, will lead to holiness. So we can get there on this path if we begin with a little bit of study and a conversation, and thank you for that. Shabbat Shalom.